Hi guys, just a really quick note from me. We have noticed that a lot of the people who are listening are not subscribing, and it would mean the world to us if the 80% of you that listen, please also subscribe, because it just means that the podcast can get bigger, it means bigger guests, and it means that we can do more for this community. Hi guys, welcome to episode 13 of Beauty in the Beast. Today we have got a guest called James on the podcast, and he is an exceptional human being who has really been through a really difficult road with anorexia, bulimia, nearly losing his life, and now he is a mindset coach, personal trainer, motivator for all of these men that he works with, all of his clients, to not only build themselves up to become stronger physically, but also mentally. And I think that he is such an important person, and I'm so grateful that he is on the podcast with me for this episode, because as we've spoken about so many times, anorexia doesn't have a face. It's not a woman. It's not somebody that's to the bone. Like we know, this mental illness can affect men. It can affect women. It can affect people that have a healthy or a high BMI. And I think James is one of the most important people to talk to about this. So trigger warning, we will be talking about weight, bulimia, anorexia, mental health in this episode. So if you feel like you're not strong enough today, take your Sunday, rest, take care of yourself, and then come back when you're feeling better. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so tell me when you realised that your relationship with food wasn't the normal.
Probably about a year into the anorexia starting, so it'd been I'd probably just been 18.
Yeah.
I think the idea then that it was all consuming. Obviously my eating disorder journey started with excessive exercising, and slowly cutting back on food. And I think it got to the point where the idea of not eating became my way of functioning. So yeah, it had been a year in when I realised that this isn't normal, but I had no one to challenge it. So then it became the norm, and I kind of obviously rewired my brain in the wrong way.
Do you think that when your anorexia started, that it was more about the food or it was more about control? So when you were over-exercising, were you over-exercising so you could eat more, or was it, I want to exercise so that I can control my mind, I want to eat less so I can control my food?
It was solely control.
Yeah.
About obviously everything that had gone on prior. Obviously the anorexia started after age of 17, being let go from my football career, being let go from school, like having to leave after my first year of A-levels, and then starting college. And then a couple of months after starting college, my nan got diagnosed with cancer and then passed away within like 3 months. So it was like all them things happening in such a quick amount of time just blew my head up. I couldn't deal with any of it, and I couldn't deal with that, so I took back control in a way of like punishing myself.
Did you have a lot of people that would say to you, just eat?
Initially, obviously, at the same time as my eating disorder starting, is when I started to, I hit puberty. I had puberty late.
Yeah.
So I didn't start growing until I was like 18, 19, which was one of the reasons why I let go for football. And then within the space of like probably about an 18-month period, I went from like 5'8" to 6'2", and obviously now 6'4". So the weight loss was masked for a certain period of time just by me getting taller and leaning out. So initially I got like positive reinforcement for the first like 6 months of the anorexia journey. It was like, oh, you're looking well, mate. So it was like, ooh, that's nice. Getting compliments. Obviously by that point I'd left school, so I was only seeing my friends like once a week on a weekend. So it was like, to get that positive reinforcement for something that was obviously really negative, it wasn't that, well, I should stop doing it. But then, like you said, I think I got to top of the hill, and I started to go down it. And then obviously people started to go like, yeah, well, you need a McDonald's, and I'm like, you burger. Like just and that's when I started to pull away from my social group, because it was just like other things were involved in it in terms of my mood. I was tired, I was grouchy. The last thing you want to do is then go on a night out. So obviously, and then those comments were catalyst to my decision just to completely retreat from everyone.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that side of anorexia. I think it's kind of glamorized a little bit, especially for females, as this kind of heroin chic. Like, look like the ladies that lunch, but they don't actually eat the lunch. But they don't realize that when you are that malnourished, getting out of bed is almost impossible.
I think there's obviously levels to everything, isn't there? In terms of, there's disordered eating and there's the eating disorders. Obviously eating disorders, it's a full-blown mental health problem, whereas disordered eating, you just have an unhealthy relationship with your food, but it's manageable. Manageable. It's like a functioning alcoholic, isn't it? It's something that people may not really know, they may not pick up on it, so therefore they don't challenge you on it, so it just becomes part of your norm. So I think that kind of that area is quite glamorized. Obviously, it's the, like you said, where you're that skinny that it's like you end up having like bed sores and just this, you just lose everything about you. That's the scary thing, that I don't think eating disorders are given that much like credence or authority. Like, it will strip everything away from you. People will be like, oh, you just eat, it just makes you ill. It makes you like look like it's way beyond just how you physically look. Like, mentally, you become, it's your kidnapper. It's the Stockholm syndrome, because you end up having this, well, I've got nothing else, but weirdly, this is the one thing that gives me comfort. So I'm going to keep doing it, because if I get rid of that, I've got nothing, because it's already taken away work, family, relationships, fun, sense of humor, and so you're left with that. And obviously that's the dangerous part, that unless you've had it yourself or very close to someone that's got it, you can't just dip into it and go, oh yeah, and I see what it does. Like, if you haven't lived it, you don't know it.
I think that's so important, because some people will think that maybe disordered eating is an eating disorder, but an eating disorder like anorexia is actually a mental health condition. And people will be like, oh, I've stopped eating, so I think I've got an eating disorder. But it's such a blessing to have disordered eating that, like you said, manageable, correctable with mindset coaches and nutritionists. But when you said it takes everything away from you, I understand. I resonate with that so much, because I was physically pushing people away. My fiance threatened to leave me, and I thought, go on then, go, because I thought if he left me, it would just be me, and I call it my beast. I was like, it would just be me and my beast, and I was thinking, oh, just wait how skinny I'll get. I'll see how skinny I can get now, and that was my almost control in it. And I think people don't talk about, because it's probably so dark, that side of it.
It is. I think there's even the things now, like after suffering with everything for like 10 years, when I made that like vow to go on this self-improvement journey, it's the lying and the deceit that it's at the forefront of my mind. I'm too honest at times now. I'll tell people too much. It's like not so much trauma dumping, but I'll say everything that's in my head, because it's like, if I say it all, I'm not hiding out. Therefore, it's not like old me, because you become awful. You become a compulsive liar, because ultimately you're lying to yourself, but you lie to everybody else around you.
Did you believe your own lies?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Would you ever say to someone, oh, I'm honest, I've eaten all day, I'm so full, and believe it? Yeah, I do.
I think it's because, like I said, it's like, it's a mental health problem. It's something that it's rewired your thought process. It's rewired your brain. Like,
and it eats your grey matter as well, doesn't it? So you have less brain function.
Like, people know what it's like if you I don't know, maybe alcohol's involved in that, but if you've been on a night out and you wake up in the morning or in the afternoon and you haven't eaten for so long and you get up, you've got this brain fog because you're probably dehydrated and you're also like, I won't say malnourished, but you're stuck.
Vitamins are low.
Yeah, you're deficient in everything. And it's just like this, what am I supposed to do? What? Like you end up having a joke with yourself, like, I got up, but what have I got up for?
Yes.
But it's like, imagine that 100 times worse, but all day. That's your life. It's just like you can't function to any capacity to function as a normal human being.
And I say as well, it's like having, the reason why I call it a beast is because I had to separate my voice, Annie's voice, to the voice that became my voice as well. So it's like, you know, two best friends that hang around and they pick up each other's mannerisms.
Yeah.
My voice was the beast's voice. It was the same.
Yeah. It's weird, just like, because I have angel devil.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like this, there's somewhere in you that you know what you're doing is wrong. Like, and it's like, that was you, that's your inner voice. It was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing is wrong. Like, I do need to stop. But then the devil is like, yeah, but if you do that, you ain't got nothing. Because I've taken everything else from you. I say it's just you and me now. Yeah. So it's like, but you ain't gonna, you could beat it for a couple of days and then it'll come back.
Oh.
And it's just like,
and it comes back louder. But it's like, look, you look how disappointed we are in us pleased to get.
Yeah, you went 2 days of trying to be normal.
Yeah, you're not normal.
You're back now. So like, gotta say this. But it's like you talk about it now, and it's like, because you're out of that situation, you can look back and you can have humor with it, because it's a not coping mechanism, but it's just a way of looking back and going like, wow, like things were very, very dark, very, very toxic. But you lose yourself completely, but there are little bits in you. Like, I think, you know, like you say, you know, deep down, your subconscious, you know what you're doing is bad and that you need help. It's just when you've had it for that long and it becomes unchallenged, that it does rewire your brain. So you kind of like the blurred lines of like, this is normal.
You're normal.
Like, and then somewhere deep down, it's like, no, it's not. It's like, no, it's normal. It is, because I've had it for so long. This is my new way of thinking. And that's why it's so hard.
And when you say about, you know, you needed help, and like, we know that at that stage you do need help.
Yeah.
What was that for you? Because I know you were hospitalized, and I also know that you went inpatient. So can you talk to me about some of those experiences?
Yeah, I think in terms of, weird enough, I wasn't an inpatient. I was a day patient, because there couldn't be mixed sexes on the ward. So the realization of how bad things were was after, obviously, I went through a spate of passing out at home, which should be a massive warning sign. I remember hitting my head on the kitchen floor, but I passed out. It was the first time I ever passed out in front of my parents, because prior to that, I used to pass out in the night. If I got up to go to the toilet in the night, I'd wake up on the bathroom floor, and obviously it's like, my parents don't know, it's fine. I don't know how long I've been there. And it was just like, again, people looking back, and you looking back now, it's like, why didn't you talk about it? Because if that's just like alarm bells ringing that something is shutting down. So I think I woke up in hospital and I had drips in my arm, and then they weighed me. And that's when I was 21 and 5.5 stone. And obviously at 21, I was 6'4". So it was, I can't even remember what everything back then was BMI. So obviously the BMI was so low that there should have been, I think when we went through BEAT, the eating disorder charity, we went to like self-help support groups, and I think there was a clinic in Croydon, but there was a 3 or 4 year waiting list for that. And obviously being in the hospital after being assessed, I remember them coming over, and at the same point my parents had to sign a do not resuscitate form in front of me, because I was in high risk of going into cardiac arrest. Obviously my potassium phosphate levels were dangerously low. My kidneys and my liver were failing. So if I'd have gone into cardiac arrest, they wouldn't have even attempted to revive me. So it was like some sort of like death sentence at 21. And then after that I was never sectioned under the Mental Health Act. I remember the conversation was like, you can go voluntary, or we're going to section you under the Mental Health Act. So it's like, either way I'm going. And in my head, naively, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to arrive in a straitjacket. Like, you think like, I'm back then, or you just think, I'm going to, like, crazy, like Silence of the Lambs on like a trolley. And so it's like, obviously I went voluntary, which I didn't want to do. But I think in terms of what's the one thing that you have full with the eating disorder, you have full control. You control what you eat, what you do, whether you're going to eat, whether you're going to keep it down. Like when you're in a secure unit, when again it was like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like eating time, you were sitting around a big dining table with the 11 other women that were in there, or girls that were in there, and you were just watched from like every corner of the room. There was a nurse with a clipboard just watching you eat, and it was just like, my biggest fear is eating. And now I'm being served eating with 11 other people, with 8 people in the room watching, and you have to eat it all, and you're not allowed to leave.
With other people that hate eating as well.
All on one big dining table.
Yeah.
All meal times are the exact same time. And then obviously with me, at that point, it was the bulimia. Obviously, it wasn't the anorexia lasted for about 18 months, and then it was like 8.5 years of bulimia. So my idea was like, I can eat it in front of people, so I'm normal, and then I can go and do what I need to do to not keep it down. And obviously then, so like, yeah, obviously you could tell that I was dangerously ill, but doing it in front of other people then, and then with other people watching it, was just like, you facing your fear on like 3 times a day. It's like it's like being put in a room with spiders. If you're an arachnophobe, you've got to pick them up.
Yeah.
Pick them up, let them go all over your face. You can't do out. You've got to stay there. And obviously after eating as well, we had to stay in that room, just sitting down for like an hour. For the whole idea is that it started to digest and stuff. But I think it was that moment you said about like the brain fog, eating the small amount. Like you go back through like the meal size now, and it's just like, wow, that's I've definitely eat a lot more now. But obviously I think because I was keeping it all down, that little bit was fueling my brain. Like you said, that like I started to see myself, like the rose tinted glasses came off, and the body dysmorphia kind of went, and I saw myself for what I was, and it was just like a bag of bone. And that's when it was like, okay, now I am screwed, because I know I have a problem, and I've got no way of knowing how to fix it. Because by that point, it was still, 17? I'd had it for 4 years. I had it for 4 years by then. And then still, really, it took another 3 or 4 years to get myself out of it. So it was like, it took me 4 years to realise I've got a problem, and then only another 4 years to beat it. So obviously that's how hard it was, and that's how hard it is.
I love that you just said how hard it is. I think that's so important. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just think you corrected yourself from how hard it was to how hard it is. Yeah. And I think I know what you're going to say, because you still have the devil and the angel nowhere near to the extreme. But
it's more of like a one of them, because I've been on the journey now for like 11 years. I've had it. I'm now. Last year was like a seminal moment, because it meant that I'm now more recovered than I had the eating disorder for. So it's kind of like a bit of synergy, or like I'm past. I had 10 years of the eating disorder, and now I'm 11 years without it, which is like a special moment. But
nice high five for that.
High five, yeah. So I'm thinking, I think it is always there, but to me, it's more of like I'll never go back. That's how bad it was. It's that image of me, and when you look back at the routines, it's like it's always there, but it's there as a reminder of, firstly, how far I've come, and secondly, that as much as I bitch and moan about struggles in life now, with work and clients and just people in general, it's like it was infinitely worse. And that's I'll never go back to that point. And obviously, on that 11 years, I've been through a whole load of other stuff that I think if I was ever going to go back down that road, not that I'd have had a rightful excuse, but I could have justified it.
Oh, 100%.
Going back down that route as a way of control and punishing myself and self-sabotage. But then you just think like, I got out of it once. I don't think I'd get out of it again. I think I'm older. I'm probably not as, I don't know, I'm young, and my organs probably aren't as healthy as they were before. And just, you think like you don't want to go, you don't want to put yourself back in that situation.
You beat the highest mortality rate mental illness. Yeah. And that was one thing you've probably had this in therapy when they say, put the fuel in the car to make it work.
Yeah.
And there's things that they repeat. And listen, the reality is that's true. You can't drive a car without
It's like an analogy just to make you think, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
But the one thing that a therapist said to me that really stuck with me was I was crying over something. I think it was something to do with a relationship or something like that. And she looked at me and she said, Annie, when you beat your eating disorder, there is going to be nothing that will ever be as hard as that, because you have beaten the thing that kills most of the people that get it.
Yeah.
So I think what you've just said is so right, because I remember in my recovery, and you might have had this as well, if you try to find people online or look at people or hear stories, they would say it never goes.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever goes, but it stays with you. I say it's woven into the fabric of my life, but not as a temptation to go back, as a reminder of fucking hell, I never, ever.
It's weird how you say that, because I've said it to my parents, and I think I've only ever said it to one person in not in an argument, in getting closure to a relationship. I used that. Obviously, the situation was obviously about the ex-wife, about the situation that I got in, and I remember saying, like, I know what you're trying to do, and I know what you've done and what you've tried to do. You try to make me lose myself. As in, the thing that I don't think anybody would understand is that when you lose yourself and you lose your mental health, when you can gain it back, I said, barring probably the death of my parents, I don't think there'll be anything. I could get over anything. Obviously, like, my parents are like my rock. So like the idea of them not being there or here anymore would be the biggest challenge I think I'd face up to now. But then you put it into perspective, as like you become your best self. You were at death's door, and you're not anymore, and you kind of evolved over the last like 11 years. So it's like, if you can beat that, if you lose your head, I think everything else is external noise, isn't it?
Of course.
And it's like when it's internal, and it's your own mind that's turning on you, to get that back. Like I said, I don't think there's any stronger battle that you can overcome than that.
No, because it doesn't matter if you're in a beach in Bali and everything external is amazing. You're in a, let's be really materialistic here, full Gucci outfit. You've got a Rolex on, you've got a pina colada, it's beautiful weather, everything's perfect in this most beautiful beach. But your mind hates you, you're going to have the worst time ever. So you could be living under a rock in pouring rain, and it doesn't matter where you are, because this is your bully. And that's what I think is so important, that someone like you is talking about anorexia and bulimia, because I know that for some people I fit the demographic. A young girl, I had it when I was, well, from the ages of 13 to about 25, 26. I had it for quite a long time, but I'm the demographic there. But you are a man. And you had anorexia, and that is something that is not common, but you're not uncommon, but it's not really spoken about.
I think obviously back like 20 years ago when it started, so obviously back then I think the stats would probably say that it was a lot more female orientated, whereas obviously now it's different. See, not that that's a good thing, but obviously the stats for men are massively on the increase, and it's another way of control. Obviously, there are many factors involved that when you look at the social, the economy and what's gone on in the world over the last few years, it's ways in which people are trying to deal with the stuff that's going on in their head. It's become it's become a more common coping mechanism, which it isn't right. But yeah, I think in terms of the whole 10-year period, like I said, I never interacted with another man, which obviously was a weird thing to then be told and actually realize that. But then I think as part of that, it took me after being in like recovery for like a few years, I still wasn't open about talking about it. And I don't know what it was in my head. I think it was when I first started going to the gym and I saw myself change. I'd already changed mentally, but when I started to change physically, I kind of went on this self-improvement mindset journey without knowing what a self-improvement mindset journey was. I wanted to know why. I wanted to like psychoanalyze my own self. And I think it was more to do with like, if I take control of talking about it, then it's not a taboo. It's not a taboo thing anymore. It's not something that can lay dormant and fester over time. And it's also more of like a public declaration. Like the more people that know about it, if for any reason I ever went back and started to revert back to who I was or stop going to the gym, the more people that know this story be like, mate, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's more of like that's another coping mechanism. The more people that know about my story, the more you'd think that maybe someone will go, are you all right? Because you don't seem yourself, or you haven't seen you in the gym in a while, or you look a little bit leaner. That's the polite word of saying lost weight. And I think that's how I've dealt with the whole thing. It's like, I know now that there's other men out there, but obviously I think for so long it was just seen as a taboo topic. Like, it's not a man's problem. So if you are a man and you've got it, shut up, don't talk about it. It's like, I'd be like a bit of a trendsetter. Let's talk about it. Why not normalize it? Like,
normalize it.
Yeah. And that's part of the therapy in itself. Like the more conversations I have, and like parents reaching out because their sons have got, whether it's full-blown eating disorders or disordered eating, and it's like, we've seen your journey, we've seen your story, we've seen podcasts. It's like, at least we know that there's positivity on the other side. There is hope. And that's the thing, that it's like, if that's, I didn't set out on this journey to be some kind of spokesperson for eating disorders, but when I had it, there was no one that was openly talking about it. So it's like, if someone can look at where I was to where I am now, it's doable. If I can do it, I think anybody could do it with the right structure and the right discipline and that actual desire to change, then anybody can do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that, because it's so funny. And I don't mean funny in the humorous way. I say it in a kind of uneducated way, because I don't know what the correct word would be for this.
Yeah.
But you would look at me and you, and we are completely different.
Yeah.
But our stories and our beast and our devil and our angel are so similar. And I remember when we were speaking before, you said something, and I think I asked you, do you still have like a voice in your mind? And you said, I don't, but there's certain habits that I haven't got rid of. And one of them is when you sit down, you will pull a hoodie like this.
Yeah, or a cushion. I know you have a cushion over
your stomach.
It's like my comfort blanket.
And I still do those things now. Like and especially if I've eaten, the pillow goes straight over me and I put it over.
Yeah.
And when you said about it being your kind of like coping mechanism, I've heard you speak about this, and this is what I have said repeatedly, is if you're an alcoholic, you can go to have mocktails if you still feel like you can go out, or you don't go to the club. If you're a gambler, you delete the apps on your phone, you get a Nokia, and you don't go to the casino.
Yep.
But when your addiction is food, whether it's binging it, restricting it, anything like that, you have to have it to survive.
Yeah, and obviously that's why the mortality rate is so high. So yeah, because you can't, like you said, I think I said the analogy of like, you can, not that it's the right thing to do, but it's you can lock if someone's addicted to drugs, you can lock them in a cupboard and they can just go cold turkey. And it's like, well, you can't do that with food.
No, an anorexic wants to be locked in the cupboard away from food.
Lock me in, it's fine.
Yeah, throw away the key.
Yeah, so it's just, and that's where we said, that's where you go on this journey. If you can recover and come out the other side of it, life struggles are infinitely easier in some way.
Yeah.
When you look back, when you reflect.
But you're now a high performance coach, aren't you? Yeah. And I think it's incredible. When I first found you, I was going through your videos and I loved the way, because when you came on, I didn't know what to call you, did I? Because I didn't want to say a PT, because you didn't come across as one, because you talk about, I was watching one video, you're in your car and you're talking about how your mindset has to change. And we spoke about it earlier, and you're talking about your mindset needing to change. Can you talk me through how, when you're working with clients, that you are emphasizing the change in their mind as well as their body.
Yeah, I think the training changing someone's body is infinitely easier than changing their mindset, because obviously their mindset will be hardwired due to many reasons. Like most of the people that I work with are between like 30 and 50. So they've had years and decades of being, of believing one way, and it's that way, and there's no other way. And obviously the reason why they've come to me is that they've either been through some kind of trauma, or they've come to the realization that they're not the person they once was. They put all their eggs into work, and because of that, they don't like the person that they've become. They look in the mirror and they're not confident anymore. And it's the getting them onto a structured routine when it comes to their training and nutrition is all right. The mindset stuff is you have to unpack everything. You have to get them to tell you exactly why they have these like mental blocks in their head and they're so rigid to trying new things. And obviously then it's understanding the reason for that. And it could well be that that's a trauma-based like hardwired thing in their head. And then it's really having empathy with them. And usually that's in some way, some of the guys that I coach, that their fears are things that fortunately now I've been through. So it's like being able to tell them things and they can empathize with it and go, you know, that's really bad. That's like my worst case scenario. It's like, yeah, well, I went through it and I'm still here because I did this. And it's like, once you gain someone's, I guess it's trust and respect, then they're more inclined to go, okay, well, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I think it's when they start to give a go to new things, like with the eating disorder, when you try something new and you start to eat a little bit and you start to feel a little bit more, you have the energy and your sleep's better and you start to function a little bit more, and you realize that suddenly things aren't all doom and gloom and they're a little bit better. So you eat a little bit more and a little bit more. It's the same kind of process of how I weaned myself back onto food and back into like a structured routine. That's how I coach my guys. So yeah.
When you're coaching the client and obviously you work out and you probably spend a lot of time in the gym, and I can imagine like you have friends in the gym and you have gym conversations, and I can imagine your algorithm is quite gym based.
Yeah. Gym and mindset, a lot of mindset.
Gym and mindset.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there is disordered eating kind of patterns that you see in sometimes gym culture?
Massively.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. Obviously, because you give it a, if we'd have come on a couple of months before summer, I could have probably showed DMs of people reaching out. I want to get shredded for summer, and it's like, well, when do you go away? In like 8 weeks. Like, mate, you're giving yourself a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's fine. I've spoke to one person. They're going to put me on this plan, and it's like we're talking like a bloke that's going to be on like 1,000 calories a day, and you go, okay, I don't know what you want me to do with that. Like, do you want me to put you on that same plan? Because I'm not a doctor, but obviously with everything I've gone through with nutrition is such an important pillar to my coaching that it's like a Hippocratic oath. I would be a fraud if I was to put someone on a diet like that. And it's like you end up having a conversation with them saying, come back to me in December for when you want to be in shape for next summer, and then we'll do it properly. Because I guarantee you that if you do this plan and you stick out on 1,000 calories for the next 2 months, you probably will look good on the beach holiday. You'll get some good photos for your Instagram profile, but you'll be a miserable bastard.
Oh yeah.
And then it would be, and then it's not even the actual thing that they're doing it for. It's the after effects, because when they come back after, they go, well, I'm off holiday now. I'll go back to eating normally what they normally eat. And then they look back at their pictures for when they looked really lean. They won't have the association of, yeah, but I was miserable. I was chronically hungry. I didn't have a sense of humor. Didn't have as much time as fun with my mates. Couldn't stay out as long because I was drained. They won't have that attachment. They'll just look at themselves from a physical perspective and go, yeah, I look shredded then. I look like crap now. I'll go back on that. And then that's where the cycle continues. And I've had numerous people, I'm sure you've seen it, like the photo shoot PTs that do like an 8 or 12 week boot camp to get shredded for a photo shoot. And it's like, I don't know. I can count them. Yeah, I can't count how many people I personally know that have done them. And one in particular even ended up suffering with, it wasn't I can't say full blown bulimia, but for about 4 or 5 months, he struggled with bulimia after the photo shoot, because it was this, your body or your mind can't determine between how you look to how you feel, and you constantly look at how you look physically, and once you're past that stage and then you look back at pictures, you don't have that emotional attachment. You just go, God, I look good. You don't look at it and go, oh, I was miserable then. You don't look at that. You look at the vanity. And obviously, and that's where the cycle continues, and that's where you will end up. It's inevitable that you will end up definitely with disordered eating, or potentially like a full-blown eating disorder.
I am so happy that you said that.
Yeah.
Because I did the podcast that will be out maybe before this, or a couple of episodes before this, that I'm promoting now,
Right.
was on the rise of GLP-1s,
Yeah.
Ozempic, Manjaro, Wegovy. I have done them.
Yeah.
I did them at my lowest weight. I got hold of them easy peasy like this, and that was what I was talking about.
Okay.
Now, what I've had from posting 3 like clips of this before it's released on TikTok is I would say, realistically, I would say about 25 messages that I've opened.
Right.
My inbox has gone wild,
Right.
of people that have done Ozempic, Manjaro, Wegovy. As of some of them, one of them that I read was she did it before her wedding last year. From April and May, she did it. She dropped 2.5 stone.
Okay.
Since she's come back from the wedding, she's had post-wedding blues. She's making herself sick.
Right.
Every time she eats dinner, she's taking medication that she shouldn't take. I've got to be very careful,
Yep.
kind of what.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I've had multiple people say that they have now started a binge and restrict the cycle in their day-to-day life, and they don't know what to do because they don't want to either use the medication anymore. They feel like if they have the medication, they're going to abuse it. They can't financially afford it. Some of them are then questioning whether to go on black market medications, and they're saying all they want to do is be skinny again. And now I'm reading that and seeing this isn't, let's say their name was Sophie.
Yeah.
This isn't Sophie messaging me. This is
Yourself.
This is me. And I'm like, this is someone that has a disordered eating.
Yep.
Or an eating disorder, when this Sophie felt fine a year ago in her body, but everyone was on these pens. So she thought, I don't want to be the fat bride.
Yeah, the odd one out. Or
The odd one out. So as a man that has suffered with an eating disorder, has suffered with bulimia, that is then obviously now really big in the gym culture, you've got a massive platform.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the rise of like the GLP-1s?
I don't want to sit on the fence that it's the pros and cons. Like I have 2 clients that I have now that are on Ozempic.
Yeah.
However, those people are what you would class as, from the BMI scale, morbidly obese.
Yeah.
So like everything, it serves its purpose, but then like everything else, it will get abused. And I don't want to sound harsh to those people that you just mentioned, but it seems to me, being completely honest with them, they could have what they wanted if they did the work.
Yeah.
They don't have to have the skinny pens. Like, I know how much they cost, and it's like, for half of probably what they spend a month on skinny pens, they could, they could hire me, but they could hire a coach that can give them the structure, the accountability to eat within the parameters that keeps them healthy, and with enough energy over to go into the gym and to get skinny, but to build the body that they could actually, when they're with their partners or they go to try clothes on, you're naked in front of yourself and you look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm proud. It's the modern day society view of quick fix.
It's instant.
Yeah.
Everything we want now is instant.
Yeah.
Because we can get everything instantly.
But I think also it's obviously, you look at social media and you look at advertising, it's how it's promoted and how it's marketed as well. Like if people actually did the research to it, it's not even about a lot of the Ozempics and Manjaro weight loss pens. All they do is you'll lose muscle as well. So so it's like, yeah, you're gonna lose weight, but you're not losing the right way. You're not losing. It's not all fat. So people that have maybe, that's why, again, bodybuilders, there was a rise in it in terms of people that I know within the gym, and then they kind of realize what it actually does to you, and they moved on to other things, which I won't talk about. But in terms of like, it's so detrimental to your health, not only to from your body, but obviously again from your mindset. The unhealthy association of, this is the only thing I have, this is the only thing I can have to get the life or the body that I want. And it's just like, no, like it's really not. It's just like, you say it to people, it's like, if you could have a routine, again, women that are wanting to be slim, you're talking maybe 3 hours a week of physical activity within a gym, and then you have your steps and stuff outside that, like 3 hours, and you're probably more than halving the cost of what you're spending on these weight loss pens. But on the other side of that is, within 6 months to a year, you will be so self-sufficient in the knowledge you have, you'll never need to work with anyone again. But then you say to people, well, it's going to take 12 months for that, but in 12 months you'll never need another coach. You save all this money. Like I don't know, like for me, it could be from 250 quid to 500 pound a month. I charge people depending on what level of accountability they need. It's like, well, if you did that for a year and then you never need another coach for the next 20 years, net positive.
Yeah.
Because it's not just with the likes of me. I'm not a PT anymore, so it's not like train like that, eat like that. It's the education as well. Like, you're training like this because you're eating this, because like the way that you're feeling at the minute is because. So you identify, you learn, you adapt, you grow, you implement, and that's where the high performance coaching is a little bit more advanced, and it's more of a complete overhaul of the person themselves, rather than just to look good. Because anyone can look good, but you can look good and feel crap. It's like, if you can look good and feel good, winning.
You can look good and be dying.
Yeah.
Which is I remembered before I was put on bed rest, I literally mean when I was sat on the sofa having the FaceTime Zoom with the psychiatrist, because I couldn't actually get there. I had a girl message me saying, babe, your body T, what's your workout routine? And I was thinking, it's you don't want to know.
Yeah.
This is self-hatred, disrespect. This body doesn't have any kind of routine apart from treating it like it needs to be gone.
Yeah.
And I think you're so right with this rise in all of this. Like you said, with the men, it's getting higher. For women, it's getting higher. And the sad part is it's getting younger. There's girls, and I don't know if it's guys as well, and I will check this and I'll actually put it in the caption, but there was a study done by Harvard, and I was researching up to understand more about confidence and how to become more confident when it's not just about your physical appearance. And they asked girls as young as 5 and 6 if they felt confident, and it was 77% said no because of the way they look. It's 5 or 6. And I'm now, and I said this on the last podcast, but I'll repeat it, I think it's only going to get worse, because instead of seeing mum and dad go into the fridge and getting a little bit of chocolate, or maybe going in the cupboard and having a packet of crisps, because everything's about moderation, they're going to see mum and dad go into the cupboard and inject each other because they're going on holiday. And I think that's just I think it's gonna be so detrimental.
Yeah, there's gonna be another wave of mental health problems. I think that's all it is. So I think, and I've had this talk with multiple people. It's like, what is going to be the change? I don't have the answer, because it lies within the person themselves.
100%.
Because they have to see that there's it's a better way, a more optimal way, a more healthy way in the long term. And I think that's where, again, like you said, like kids are probably saying that now, because I'm guessing probably all them kids have got mobile phones.
Yeah.
and all them kids are on TikTok, they're on YouTube. So it's obviously, you don't even know, like when your kids go upstairs, what they're seeing, what content is slipping through the algorithm that's not being flagged as inappropriate. You don't know. And obviously, it's this, again, what's the average attention span for, is it 3 seconds?
3 seconds.
So you think, again, like the idea of then telling someone, and this is whereby, like, I'll have loads of like coaching calls or discovery calls with people, and as soon as you say to them, when they say, like, realistically, how long will it take? I'll say between 6 and 12 months. And it's like, well, Joe Bloggs down the road said he can do it in 3. Pop along then.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna sell you a lie, because at the end of it, I'm gonna look like a twat.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you're gonna lose like trust within yourself.
Yeah.
He said 3 months, or he said, yeah, and in 3 months, I don't look no different. I don't feel no different. I must be doing it wrong. So I'm worthless. It's like that spiral you can then go on because of that. And that's where I think everybody has a responsibility. Obviously the coaches and PTs and whoever, like, they all have a responsibility. So they're just grabbing people's money. It's you are playing with people's mindsets.
And your mindset is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the deck of cards, isn't it? That goes, everything caves in on top of that. So yeah.
If somebody listening to this podcast that we have just done now feels hopeless, they feel like they look at you as you are now, happy, healthy, successful, and they think, I can't imagine myself getting to where you are now.
Yep.
What would you say to them?
It's not about looking where I am now. Obviously, if I'd have looked at me, if someone would have put a mirror up and I'd have seen who I am now 11 years ago, I'd have told them to F off, because it wouldn't have been possible. But it's not about looking at me. You're putting yourself now when you're at day 1 of your journey, and you're looking at me when I'm 11 years ahead of you. Why? It's like looking at a baby being born and saying, well, why can't you play 11-a-side football? It's impossible. It's just looking at how do you get yourself onto the next step. So it's like, what do you need to do within your routine to set yourself up that tomorrow you finish the day with something, that you wake up tomorrow, I won't say 1% better, but slightly better, that you end it with a little bit more of a positive. And to me, although a lot of people say that like routine and structure is boring, but it's what a lot of people need, because otherwise they're just here, there and everywhere, and there's no like laser focus. And obviously that comes back to your purpose, and the why. What's the reason for you doing what you want to do? It's like, well, if it's to do with how you look, I would hedge my bets that that's not the real reason. Yeah. So when people say, I wanna look skinny, I wanna look better, and it's not. It's just that they want to be fucking happy, and that's not even about aesthetically. That there is a little piece of the pie that is that, but it's more they want to look at themselves and be accepted. They want to be accepted by their peers. They want to be seen that they're loved by their partners. They want to be happy in their job. They want to be, I don't know, successful to the point where they've got their bills covered and they don't feel like they're being a burden, or they're not giving their kids the best life. That's just a superficial thing that people say, I just want to look better. But when you actually get down to it, it's a lot more than that. And so that's where it's like the work that I do now, it's everything rather than just the training and the nutrition. So it's understanding as to, if you feel hopeless, what is it? Doing like a deep dive into your life. If you do a list of all the things that you feel in your life are shit, and all the things in your life that you think are good. And even if there's like one thing on that thing is good, then you deep dive into that and be like, well, what can I do? What can I focus on that? How can I use that as a way to make myself feel better now? Or all the things that are bad, rank them, put them in a list, and then rank them from what needs your attention first. And if it's to do with, if it is to do with looking better, then it's not jumping on pens. It's, if you've got a dog, take the dog for a walk. Get an app on your phone or get a watch and start tracking your steps. Make one change to your diet. If you're having 3 takeaways a week, drop it to 2, and replace that day with something that all the family can get involved in. Or if it's just you and your partner, or if it's just you, but like, make a meal from scratch. Like, yes, it's a ball ache. Yes, there's a lot of cleaning up to do, but that habit that you then do every week in, week out, that then becomes the new norm, and then you go again and you take another takeaway out and you replace it with something else, and then that takeaway could then become your, I won't say treat because it's like you're rewarding yourself, but that can become the one thing that can become like the 80-20 rule that I have from the nutrition side of what I teach my clients is like, if 80% of your food or your diet comes from like wholesome, whole grain, like food from scratch, the other 20%, eat what you want. Eat what you want, have that balance. It's not about rewarding, it's balance. So yeah, there's loads of things you can do. And then from a mindset point of view, and it sounds a bit woo-woo, but like list out the things that have gone well in the day and praise yourself for it. Whether it's you stand in front of the mirror, I wouldn't say that, just talk to yourself in the car. You know what, well done for today, because the person you were last week, you wouldn't have done that. Fair play. And it's that positive reinforcement, and it's not from anyone else. It's not anyone else blowing smoke up your ass. It's you're blowing smoke up your own ass, which again will make you kind of feel better within yourself. You start to love yourself again because you're trusting yourself again, because you're respecting yourself again, and what you're feeding it from all avenues is making you that better person. And that's where you start. That's what I did 11 years ago. I just decided to start going to the gym, and then the gym led on to the nutrition, and then changing my nutrition up, and then again the confidence came from the gym. And then I'll tell you now that if you stick to a journey, you will end up doing something within 6 to 12 months of that journey that you never thought possible.
Yeah.
Because I remember I got into like modeling, I got into like TV work and like acting work, and got to work with Adidas and all that stuff, and it was just like I only got there, I was like, it's me, I got myself there. I got myself there by showing up and doing things that elevated myself, and other people saw it, and then they wanted to get to know me, and networking gets bigger. And that's the thing, it's like the universe. I'm not a very religious person, but in terms of like spirituality, there is such a thing as the universe. The universe sees what you're doing. If you're being a dick, you ain't going to get no rub of the green.
No.
And if you're doing things that they can see that it's you're trying to better yourself, it will chuck you something, and it's on you whether you want to run with it or not.
And I think that you're doing what I want to do as well, and what I'm trying to do with this is you're serving other people just by telling your story.
Yeah.
And I think that we said it earlier, you said it earlier, your story is so impactful because it's actually a lived experience. You're not just talking about something like you said you read in a book. You've lived it. You've experienced it.
Yeah, and it's funny when you speak to people. Obviously, when I used to do the mental health coaching, you'd get people on like the little trolls on social media saying like trying to get into the mental health space when you're clearly like off your tits on steroids. It's just like, do you know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, because if you think that I'm off my tits on steroids, I must be doing something right.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, yeah, thank you for that, because you've just given me a little. That's my little win for the day now. There's obviously, but yeah, people only see. It's like any successful person, you only see them when they're driving around in the Lambos, and you don't see the hard work.
No.
Honestly, that's the thing I try to make real with people. Like, I only want to work with people that actually want to work. Like, I can't give you instant results. I can't give you instant gratification, but I'll teach you things that are going to take a lot more time, but it's an educational journey rather than an instant result.
Of course, and because life isn't instant results, it's just we've been fed that it is.
Yes, and it's like the whole point of like, it's like when they say, if you're a smoker and you smoke for 20 years, it won't take you 20 years to kind of right the wrongs, but it will take your body a long period of time to catch up. It's the same with us. It's going to it's still going to take a lot of time, and it's the same with people that I work with, and obviously people that are probably reaching out like to the likes of you, in terms of like when you actually sit down and, how long have you felt like this? Like 10 years. Well, how do you think everything's going to change in 3 months?
Yeah.
Because what you've learned, you're not going to be able to, what you've done in 3 months, you're not going to be able to just go forward with that. If you spent 10 years of hating yourself and not really knowing what to do, 3 months is no time. That's no time to learn, to implement, and that to become routine and then a habit. It takes a lot longer than that. And obviously that's where the yo-yo diets and the fads and the pens, that's just the next buzzy thing.
Yeah, it is. It's the next trend. And you're so right. What I said in my book, and it's so true, and I have to remind myself of it even daily. This would be the one thing that I still have to remind myself is, I remember when I was first kind of introduced to affirmations, I remember being like, I don't know if I can look in the mirror and tell myself I'm beautiful. It just seems really unorganic for me. But I was like, I don't have affirmations, but I did for so long. It was my beast constantly telling me that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worth it. So now if I know that I'm going to be struggling with something, whether it's something that that is out of my control, because I still have that need for control, or whether it's physical appearance or anything like that, I just remind myself, you've done it so far, you've got through every bad day, you are enough. Today is going to be as good as you make it. And I repeat them to myself, and I don't stand in the mirror naked and go, you are beautiful, I love your thighs. I don't do that, because that's gaslighting my own self. But I think that you're so right with everything you've said on this whole podcast. And I said to you earlier when one of the cameras cut out, and there's no 4-4 here, as you can see, it's again, I have to repeat it because we're actually both from the same town. And that when you're talking, there's so much that you say that is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you could finish the sentence.
I could finish the sentence. And I think that's so important to discuss on this, because when I get a message, and I'm sure it's the same when you get a message, the most common denominator is, I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely with this. But your beast isn't yours. I'm not special because I had a beast. You're not special because you had a devil, because ours come from the same thing. They're saying the same thing to each other. So if more people can speak about the things that are uncomfortable, the topics that are off topic, and like we're doing today, and like you're doing with all the amazing podcasts that you're doing, when you're talking about mindset, when I'm talking about the good, the bad and the ugly, I think that collectively as like a community that this is going to get better.
I think that's the only way that there's going to be a societal change, because obviously when people then go on their own journeys, it's like a pay it forward, because there's someone that you've helped will then want to help someone else. And obviously that's how you're going to try and slowly but surely kind of re-educate people, or just kind of change the mindset of modern day society. So
Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Pleasure.
And just quickly before you go, can you just tell people where they can find you if they want to follow your accounts?
The easiest one will be in Instagram. It's just james.roffey.
Perfect.
Nice and easy.
And I'll put everything in the caption below. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please keep up to date with James. And if anybody is looking for a high performance mindset coach, he is your guy. So thank you for watching, and have a lovely Sunday.